All right, it's still the weekend show, and like we said, this is when we serve you the main course of the program. And this morning we'll be looking at a very important topic. Lucy said when we started that the election is still ongoing, and there is no way we would sit down here and will not assess our performance in the election. So this morning we'll be looking at assessing youth performance in 2019 elections. And when you talk about 2019 elections, certainly you're talking about the one that passed and the one that is coming. And maybe post-election issues, people might still go to court. People will still want to maybe reclaim their mandate through the court. People that feel that they were cheated out or the process didn't favor them. So the continuous process still continues.
Yes, and due to the fact that Weekend Show is a place where we look at life from the lighter aspect, we decided to look at the youth's performance. What did the youth do? What role did the youth play in the last election? What role do we expect them to play in the next election? And guess what? We have a public affairs analyst, somebody who is actually a youth, and I would say he played a huge role in the last election. He is still going to play another huge role in this next election. So, we're welcoming to our studios Charles Ifeanyi Obi. He's an engineer and he's also a politician. Why are you laughing? Is it the politician part or the engineer part? So he's like an engineer turned politician or politician turned engineer.
The way you put it.
All right, let's begin with this assessment. We just came out from the presidential and national assembly elections. And on Saturday, just a week from now, we'll also be going to the polls again in Anambra specifically now for state assembly elections. But in other states, they'll still be doing gubernatorial in 29 other states. And let's look at what will be your assessment of how the youths performed, how they were able to carry out their... You know, before this election, the issue of not too young to run cropped up, and several youths went into the race.
And several dropped.
And several dropped along the way. So how would you assess their performance?
Actually, what we've had in the past is massive youth participation. I must commend the youth involvement, because I witnessed it. I went around in my village, for instance. I visited virtually all the polling units, observing what was going on. The youth were eager to participate, not like what it used to be. Okay, it was given to the women. They say women has the boy. This time around, I saw a lot of the women sitting down. The youth were agitating. Yeah. They were focused on who wins. I don't want to begin to go specifically, but now they were, if this person is who voted, we want him to emerge. Yeah. So, and then if you look at those who won election in the last 23rd February election, you found out that a lot of youth were involved in making the winners. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This is purely what transpired in Anambra State, particularly.
So you're saying like the youths played more roles than they've ever played before.
Commendable.
Wow.
Okay,
it's massive.
You hold the massive and commendable, but when you also assess the kind of comments coming from the youth on social media, you see...
That's their role on social media.
Oh, their roles. But all of them are part of the political airspace. How would you assess the kind of words used by people to describe maybe opposing parties or opposing candidates by the youth? Do you think is a step also... Was it also massive? Was it also a step in the right direction?
Sometimes when you begin to have revolution, people revolt in various ways. Okay. We know of a country that youth revolted by manslaughter. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we here in Anambra, for instance, in Nigeria generally, when we talk about not too young to run, you see the energy in the youth. They pursued that. They didn't relent. Followed it, all the processes. So the youth are out. It's a revolution. They would agitate. You don't take that away. There will be agitation. And when you're agitating, you may employ, just like people who agitate for the sovereignty of Biafra. Sometimes when I come again, I say, why do you have to use a lot of vulgar? This is not, you don't need to sound soft. Okay? When you have a revolution, you have to be harsh so that you can pierce, whether good or right, pierce, whether good or wrong, pierce the hearts of people who you need to, who you need to, affect.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Lucy K.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
It is not special micro-engineering.
Yeah, please, who are we speaking with?
Paul is calling from Okage.
Okay,
Go on.
Paul, go on.
Yeah, this is Jessica John Paul. I'm calling from Okage here.
Okay, go on. We know the voice.
Okay, yes, my contribution this morning is that, you see, first and foremost, you have to make a difference to the not too young to run bill. I think that is certainly what has played a huge role for onward and what the participation of the youth in this general election. And I must tell you, youth participated immensely. From the start of the election, from the role they played in calling the studio, calling the authorities that are involved, telling them what is happening, or even when the correspondents, the journalists are there, and they are even playing the role of the journalists. So they played a huge role. They came out in mass, they mobilized people, they avoided talking. So they heard the call of the parents and all that are concerned, and there was a kind of free election. So they participated immensely, and they urged the youth, especially here in Anambra State, to do so, to replicate what happened in 23rd presidential and national assembly election. Let them replicate what happened in this House of Assembly election that is forthcoming. I think that way our country will be a better place. We are practicing democracy. I think we are trying to consolidate.
All right.
Thank you very much this morning, and God bless you.
Thank you very
so
much. John Paul
God
says
bless you,
we
sir.
are trying to consolidate.
Yes, talking about consolidation. You give a lot of positive credits to the youths. Even Paul did the same.
Yeah.
He said it's commendable. Now, throughout the history of Nigeria, we know youths do play negative roles. So, in the past election, talking about 23rd February election, did you observe, or while monitoring, did you notice them playing any negative role you feel we should talk about so that we can avoid it come next election?
Yeah, you can't take away the fact that we are still a developing nation, Nigeria. When you take a look at the steps we've advanced with, you find out that Nigeria is growing. Our democracy is growing. So with time, previous years, we had it not as good as we just experienced. And I must commend the APC-led federal government, for the manner of election we just experienced in Nigeria. I want to tell you that the election we just had can be said to be successful. It can be said to be credible.
Some people might have to argue that with you.
There are people who say they want to go to court.
That's okay.
For whatever reason, but I don't want to discuss that. But there will always be grievances in every electioneering. But what we had previously, the youth involvement, you will see the demerits and merits. But I want to tell you that the merits is more
than demerits.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, can you reduce the volume on your TV so that we can hear you?
Hello, can you reduce the volume on your TV?
Okay.
I can hear myself.
Please, when you call us, reduce the volume on your TV set and then speak
away
to us. We can hear you. Okay, so now you're saying, irrespective of the fact. Oh God, I even forgot. Please, can you speak Igbo?
Of course, I speak very well.
So you na-akọwa kịta anụ abụghị na ndị youth mechi ihe na-adịrọ mma during election. Nke dị mma ha meka.
Nke dị mma ha mee ka nke dị njọ ha mee. Enwekwara areas where they involve in Togri.
Yeah, of course, I noticed. One of them almost beat me.
There were areas where they involve. Okay, look at all election now. You know.
Mother Charlie Dolly see me.
Well, you know, when you talk about over enthusiastic youths,
and even Lagos State.
Sometimes when you give those privileges, some people tend to abuse it. Yes, when you involve a youth, or some of them are maybe some of them call them juvenile delinquencies and stuff. So sometimes they get overexcited.
Yes,
because then they have the privilege to participate. These are necessary steps.
Yeah, I would like to ask you a question talking about this overexcitement. Now, some youths that work for some politicians actually indulged in some misconducts. And at the end of the day, those misconducts were attributed to the politician. So what I want to ask now, is it possible that a politician will actually employ you as a youth? Say be a election. Man ballot paper. Because you feel you want to deliver your unit. Where at the end of the day it will dent the image of the politician. Or do you think that whatever they did were actually on the orders of the politician?
Benga, my town, about an election, I'm from a lot of youths. And when you Makulo Kenyola, a young guy slapped an elderly man. So when why do you have to do that? I said, if I remember politics, they can talk about the seniority and all that. Elderly. So if you election,
yeah.
Election, we come up with the since we campaign. Okay. Elections. But actually, active.
You wouldn't exempt this person. Let me give you an example. If you're following what's happening in America, one of the lawyers that is confessing against the president said that the president have never told him to lie in Congress, but the way he looks at him and lie, that he will confidently lie more than the president will do. So when you look at this argument and you want to balance it, there's a way someone will motivate you, give you the money you've not seen in your life for doing nothing. I don't know if you're getting
but then I think
you might be motivated to act in that.
But then,
capacity.
David, I think what he's trying to say is, if I'm a politician, I sent you to monitor your unit for me, monitor your ward, secure votes for me. But then maybe you did not do the background work well, but you still want to deliver. You now go snatching ballot boxes. At the end of the day, what I did as a politician was to ask you to secure votes for me.
Yes.
I did not ask you to snatch ballot boxes. So that's what you're trying
to
say. But at the end of the day...
But you want to please your master.
But you want to please your master.
No, you want to please your master. But when a master pays, let me take for example, someone who have not seen a 50,000 naira in the last 3 months, and the master pays him off close to 3 million on a stand and says, if you deliver, come back for more. Don't you think this guy will be motivated?
But then, please, David, I think, David, you're trying to sound like there's an excuse for ballot snatching.
No, it is not.
So what I'm trying to say is, even if the master pays, I'm sounding like a politician now. Even if the master pays 3 million naira, I think you should have used that money, better the life of people in your units. They will vote for your master, because definitely fire. So I don't think if any youth goes out there, does anything violence or snatch ballot boxes, I think you should punish the youth, because for that person to have been up to 18 years old, the difference between right and
like I said earlier, we are progressing. Okay, the process is getting better. I believe also by 2021 in Anambra State, we'll have a more credible. 2017 was credible. We'll have a more credible. Then 2023 will be better.
Yeah, let's
far better. Okay.
Hello. Hello.
Is she sleeping?
All right.
We talked about involving money in the electioneering. Money is part and parcel of our process. But this year, you experienced, as well as I did, that there were, the people were checkmated. They are wearing this normal vote buying.
Yes.
Okay? People who gave money didn't give in the open.
They didn't.
Before, they would just exchange money, throw money
Very
around.
brazenly.
But this time, I looked around to see people giving money.
In
They want-
the
such case.
areas I covered, I tried as much as possible to be. Hello? Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, your name and where you're calling us from.
I'm Joseph calling from Oka.
All right, go on.
Na-etinye anya maka assessing the youth
Okay.
on general election.
Mm.
So nye na-etinye ya dịka ọ bụrụ na youth nara ego na-azụ ka bụrụ ballot box.
Yeah.
All corruption. Ọ bụrụ na ọ nọ na bribe nara ego gaa tọọ vootu onye ọ na-atụnye ka anyị bụ onwe anyị eziokwu corruption bụ ịnara n'ego ego ịnara na is corruption. Okay, n'anya na national anthem our national anthem faithful, honest, faithful, loyal. If you look at our national anthem, you know that we are not patriotic. Ka anyị bụ onwe anyị eziokwu 1993 general election conducted by Humphrey Nwosu. I was in primary school then. So 1993 general election would be free and fair election so far. In 1999, and I was complaining against Obasanjo winning. So people were complaining. 2003, so people were complaining about the election. 2007, people were from 2011, 2015. People were complaining about cash visa. No, this time around now, it was a cash visa pattern again. So, Kailanya change the situation. What does that? That was 17 Roma.
Okay.
Change the another pattern. Like now, the election in the Lanya Akama, it is of Nigeria, it's June 12th election. Can you compare the election now? Humphrey wants to conduct with option A4.
Okay, thank you.
So that before so what I'm telling you that David of I'm not going to do that upload that thing I got to going forward. We're going to be June 12th, 1993 general election, which Abiola
Okay. I think we've gotten your point. We don't have much time. Do you agree with him?
Option A4.
That's like going
in the kind of complicity of elections that we have, do you think
but
that
I go for, we have to go for pure electronic voting this time around, okay? Not the card reader is not being utilized properly in Nigeria. Because if you, in the past election, just concluded one, there were areas in Anambra State even where they recorded irregularities, okay? When you talk about even all cannot here, they were the numbers of votes recorded were not tallying. Some places did not even use card reader at all. So how would you measure the accredited and the real votes?
Okay, now
then if you recently they talk about what happened in Obosi and Abatete in Anambra State, people were saying the card readers were not employed properly.
Yeah, I was there.
At the time they said the election was being cancelled, they would declare social election inconclusive, Anambra Central and the House of Reps over there, for Senate and House of Reps rather. But at the time, things happened and I don't know what I don't want to go into that for now.
Yeah, but they still concluded.
But they did something afterwards. So if you had gone for electronic voting like others do, some other countries that advance, we are progressing actually. I think it's time we begin to think about that. So if we involve electronic voting, sometimes people even vote from their kitchen.
Okay, so
you vote from anywhere, your device.
Now, I want to ask, due to lack of time, I want us to look at the next election, the State House of Assembly election. Now, in as much as we don't want to call the name of your party, you are a politician. You belong to a political party.
I belong to a political party.
Now, what advice do you have to give to Nigerians watching? What advice do you have to give to INEC? What advice do you have to give to the youth concerning this March 9th election? What do you think we should do, or what we should look out for?
I would prefer to bring it down to Anambra, where our immediate community here, and we don't have governorship. We have just State Assembly.
State House of Assembly.
Yeah, so I see a very successful election coming. Anambra people, we have a manner with which we vote. We are communists in nature. And now we do not have issues of this is for presidency, because I see the sentiment.
Yeah, there was
This time around, the sentiment was so much.
was.
Okay? People say there is presidency, there is we want to
So
do
they
this.
trumpet
So
on
they,
the
yes,
same symbol.
at the time they didn't know how to begin to differentiate.
They thumbprinted on
This
the
time
same
around,
symbol.
we just have one. And our advice that we think very well. Don't be influenced by what people may say. A lot of people will come to you to tell you things. If you want to continue in a state that is progressive, you want to continue in a state that is not cantankerous, because when you have this, when you begin to have disagreements, most times it begins to stunt the progress of a state. And then when you stand there, you are supposed to use to work to begin to settle disputes.
So you're saying they
So I'm suggesting and appealing as well to Indian Anambra that Saturday, this year, 7 days from now,
March, yeah.
we should all come out as we did previously. We should troop out in mass and vote for the candidates we know that will work with the governor.
Yeah, that's
There's a governor in the state. There must be people to work with him. If you give him people who work against him, then we'll suffer it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
That's how far we'll go on our main course of discussion this morning. We looked at assessing youth performance in 2019 elections. We looked at February 23 elections and some other things that came up with it, and then in preparation for March 9 elections. Thank you for joining us this morning. And we had Charles Ifanyobi, a social media commentator, influencer, and a politician joining us on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so from me, I will advise, we already have a governor. So when you go to vote, vote for a team that can work with him. We don't want a state of anarchy. So don't forget, David and I will not be coming next Saturday. So until fortnight.
Yeah. And
But before then, we're still here.
yes, we're still here. We still have several things to serve you this beautiful morning. We'll now bring you the breakfast news. Stay with us.